commerce now and all. So the next day when I went to school, I went to the commerce section because my father had already talked to the school authorities that uh, it was a mistake from our part and she wants to join in commerce. And when I went to the commerce section, again in 2 days, I wanted to join back science. So I know all of you are confused, especially people in 10th class who have chosen the subjects for the 11th standard. I know how confused you are, and I know how indecisive you are. And it's okay. You're at a very young age. It's okay to be indecisive. You can seek help from your parents. You can seek help from your teachers to guide you what you would want to do in your 11th standard. And it doesn't decide your future. I mean, it definitely gives you a path, whether you want to go in science or you want to go in commerce, but it is not the end, right? You can just be in science for some days, maybe have some days there, and you can just talk to the school fraternity that maybe my interest changes and all and all. So you can always look for your interest and find your interest. Talking more about school, so I was an average student in academics. I once failed in mathematics when I was in class 6th. I was bullied for not being good enough by my physics teacher in class 8th. Till today, I have animosity towards that teacher. So, but I also thank her because when she bullied me, she gave me the motivation to do better. I started calling her with a funny name to make fun of her, but apparently that was not enough to satisfy myself. I would make jokes about her, but no, that was not enough. I wanted to do something that I come in her good books, but that never happened. So there are teachers in school in your class who have their favorite students, and who appreciate some people as more than the others. And no matter how much you try, they bring you down, and it does bring down your confidence. But what kept me going in my case was my parents. So you should have some source of motivation for keep you going. Even though I was an average student, my parents would always trust me, and they believed that I was, one of the best students in school. So in my mind, I always had this thing, you're not bad, you're good enough. Okay, so this is, I think, the best thing my parents have done for me. They've always believed in me. And if you want to do something in your life, you should always make your parents believe in you, because that gives a lot of motivation, right? So so later in class 12th, when I topped my school in science stream, everyone was shocked because I've never topped my school any time except the boards in class 12th. I was always 10 to 20 rank average student. I never knew like how to be the rank one. And suddenly in 12th, I get to know that I'm like the top one student. So everyone was shocked. Teachers couldn't believe. And I wanted to show that physics teacher, I can do it. I had something more than what you believed in me. So moreover, in physics subject specifically, I scored the merit certificate in physics, the same subject that I was bullied in. So nothing is impossible. If you have that determination that you want to do something, then you can do it. Like nobody can stop you. And also in Indian school, we have a concept, if you have high grades, then you're the smart person. And if you have some low grades, then you're not good enough. Teachers wouldn't treat you that way, or you would feel less confident because you always have a topper in class, you always have a bright student in class. But believe me, it will not matter once you leave school, once you are in college, once you explore your skill sets. Among us, there will be some doctors, some lawyers, some engineers, some future IAS, IPS even. It doesn't matter how much you grade. I'm not saying your grades do not matter at all, but it doesn't matter that you get some grades lower than the other person. Maybe you have some talent that the other person doesn't have. So do not run behind grades. Not that like completely not run behind grades. For me, things work and grades help me a lot. But do not think that it is the only thing that's going to help you in your future. So you have to just stay focused towards your goal, and it requires some hard work. So when I was in school, nobody in my class back in school would have expected me to do anything fine in life. But here I am in front of you guys talking about my journey. And I've always been that person in school who was shy, easily afraid of others. I was low on confidence. I always have had handful of friends, okay? I never had a whole bunch of friends. I was sometimes bullied as well, which I felt bad about. But when I look at those people now, I'm like, okay, I nailed it. Okay, I'm better than you at least. So, you have that sense of confidence which develops with time, okay? So if you're not doing good in life right now in your school, it doesn't matter. In some years, you might be at some position where nobody else is. So you have to keep faith in yourself. You have to keep moving, and you have to, along with it, break the chain of your low confidence, move out of your comfort zone, try new things, try the unexplored, and build your skill set. Because this is what matters in the end, right? Do not let your shyness hold you back. Break the chain, work towards your goal. Okay, I have been speaking like completely for I think 10 minutes now. If you have any question, you can just pop up anytime in the chat box if you're shy enough, or you can just speak up. So in class 12, after class 12, when we had to decide what we want to go ahead with, all my friends were going ahead with engineering. I was confused. I was very confused. I had two options in front of me. Either I could go to Kota and prepare for my engineering exams, JEE and other exams, or I had the opportunity to go to the oldest college in Delhi University, which is St. Stephen's College. So I chose the road which is less traveled by. I kept the faith in myself and started my journey. So there were some relatives, some of my friends who would say, okay, you're doing BSc, oh my God, just plain BSc, you can do it anywhere, even in Rampur, your hometown. So there were some things which did hold me back, but I trusted the process. I wanted to give it time, and I wanted to be through that process. So when I look back, I think that I made the right decision. I am glad I did not go to Kota for my engineering exam, and I did BSc and then MSc, and then further on I'm doing PhD now. So I realized that this is not going to be easy, because there were struggles initially, like being from a remote area from Rampur, UP. It was initially tough for me to survive in Delhi, okay, but it comes with time, because my batchmates, they were from some mega cities from all around the country. So to gel well in, you have to give it your all. I mean, you have to be, you have to, because I had been speaking in Hindi throughout my life, and suddenly I have a whole culture change in front of me when I go to college. Everybody's speaking English. They have there are some kids from the bureaucrats family, and there are some, very mega city kids, I would say. So I had to, work some hard to also find myself, find my personality over there. So then from BSc, I worked some hard to get into masters at IIT Roper, and then further, when they said, now you are at IIT, now you do not have to do anything, man, you'll get some job and you'll get some package. But it doesn't work that way. You have to work hard out of it. I had to make a choice whether I want to go ahead with a job, whether I want to go ahead for a higher studies. So after after like deciding on it, I had this opportunity to be a PhD student at IIT Delhi. So I had this opportunity of Prime Minister Research Fellowship, which I got through some interview after my master's. And also my professors at IIT Roper helped me a lot to get through the process. So always keep your teachers happy. That would be a plus point that always works for you in your case. At least in college, when you go, you do not make your teachers mad at you. You have to keep your teachers happy, because they're going to help you a lot in future. And so when I was getting this PMRF scholarship, I went on to join IIT Delhi. So IIT Delhi is one of the premier institutes, and the scholarship which I got, PMRF, which it doesn't come easy, okay? I had worked hard for it. So I was like, okay, now I have everything. I am satisfied in life. Should I settle for it, or should I do something else? So everybody was happy around me. My parents were happy. My neighbors were jealous. So it means I was doing the right thing in life. But then again, something popped up in my mind that I'm not satisfied with what I'm doing, right? I mean, I always wanted to apply to US universities for my PhD. So there was something which was holding me back. I was not satisfied. There was something that was missing from my happiness. I realized that sooner, that this is not what I wanted to be. I know they were paying me generously, but money is not all. Whichever field you go in, whichever way you go in, even if you take arts, if you excel in your art subject, you're going to earn a lot. So it doesn't matter if you take a commerce subject or a science subject or an art subject. If you excel in that particular subject, you're going to earn a lot. So So when I was there, I started preparing for my GRE exams and TOEFL exams, and I told my parents that, I want to leave IIT Delhi and I want to join some other institute in US for my PhD and everything. So definitely everybody was mad at me because this did not come easy and they were paying me generously and I had worked hard for it. But then there came a point where I was like, no, I can't take it anymore. I want to be in some university in US. So I started applying. I got in 3 universities here. So so when I was here, definitely my parents were fine because I had convinced them, but nobody trusted the process. But it's me who is definitely very satisfied, and I make more money than I would have made when I was at IT Delhi, and I feel more satisfied. So I would say, like, there would be many good opportunities in your life where you would want to take this way or that way. There would be a lot of dilemmas in your life, but you have to take the way that satisfies you. Okay, you do not have to take the most popular decision. Okay, everybody's going for the engineering, let me go for the engineering. Everybody's going for the medicine, let me go for the MBBS stuff. You have to take the decision that satisfies you the most. So for me, getting into this university satisfied me more than it satisfied me to be at IIT Delhi. So I took this decision, though it added like a year off from my life. Like, I had spent 1 year already at IIT Delhi, but then I did because it did satisfy me. So if you guys have any question, you can just pop up anytime. Yeah, I can share some more experience from my master's. So yeah, so during my master's at IIT Roper, somebody has raised a hand. Do you have any question? Maybe no. Okay, so during my master's at IIT Roper, so I had this, since day one, I wanted to always get that gold medal because somebody, the topper in your class, would always get the gold medal. So I always worked hard for it, but I always stood second. In my last semester, I was like, no, I have to get this because I've already worked so hard, just like a little bit more effort and maybe I'll get it. But then things did not work out. Though I worked hard on my projects and my academics and all the subjects, but I was not able to get that gold medal. But then in the end, being the second ranked student, I was able to secure a scholarship which the first ranker wouldn't get it. So you have to trust the process. Though my destination did not matter much, but the journey that I had went through to get to that rank did help me. I had good grades in order to get that gold medal. I had worked hard, which helped me very much when I was sitting for interviews for my PhD. So I think you have to trust the process. You do not have to worry very much about the destination. If something satisfies you, if something makes you happy, you have to go ahead with it. And also keep your parents in the loop. You do not have to go against them every time. If you want something in life, you have to convince them. You do not have to be, the hero from a movie where you say, I have interest in this, I would go ahead with this, but my parents are not happy with this. No, you have to keep your parents happy with whatever choice you make in your life. So I think that's it from my side. If you have any questions, you can pop up, or I can just keep on speaking till eternity. Do you want to add more, Ruhim? Do you want me to speak about anything more?
Hi, Shreya.
Yeah, should I add something more? I hope I was...
Yeah, it was great, Shreya. I just want to know how's teaching different from here to there in California?
Yeah, so right now I'm doing my PhD, so I'm just a teaching assistant who, like, I do teaching in my university itself. So teaching is pretty much different. I mean, everybody has an opinion. There are no classification in class because when I was at IIT Roper, there was some classification in class. These are the smartest students, these are the average students, and these are the below average students. But I do not find any. Everybody is equally valued. Everybody has an opinion of their own. So maybe they have some other talent which they cannot show in academics. So so you have to trust yourself. You have to trust that you have this talent and this is going to help you, which is, I think, everybody is very much valued here in US compared to India. Like if I did not do well in my PhD, maybe I wouldn't be valued by my advisor there in India. But if I do not do good enough, my advisor would know that I'm trying hard, but I'm not just getting the results. So I think everybody has an opinion and everybody is valued. Also, I would like to share this point. Like, I know because we are all from a remote area, so I think girl education, it is very important. We have understood how important it is, but still there are, there are some parents who would have some question about, because this is a girl, should I send them to, when my parents sent me to Delhi, they were definitely afraid, but they had trust in me. I have no relatives here in US, but when they sent me, they had some trust in me. So your parents had to trust you, and there has to be some upliftment, and there has to be upliftment from their side. When I see Rohim, she's running a school, I mean, I feel glad, because we come from a remote area, and we are at such position where we get to handle some stuff which we wouldn't have been imagined when we were in school. When I was in school, I wouldn't have imagined I would be in US at some point in time doing my PhD. So you have to, move out of your comfort zone, make your parents trust you that you are going to go there, you are going to achieve it. And I'm definitely sure they will believe in you. Do not, try to father yourself saying that, in our family, nobody does this, nobody does that. In my family, nobody is a graduate, postgraduate, okay? Everybody runs a business. But I wanted to do it, so I did it. And my parents wanted me to be here, so I am here. So do not, push yourself. Always try to move out of your comfort zone.
Yes, hi, good morning, Shreya.
Hi.
First of all, really very thankful that it's really very late in California and you have spared a lot of time for our students. One thing I want to ask that in India, we are continuously complaining about the pandemic issues and other things, and students are not able to focus on the online classes because of the one reason or other. I would like to ask that how in California it is different from India, because we see the reports of US, the students are regularly attending the classes and everything is going on very smoothly, even in the online also. So what teaching you can give to our students that the online is better and how they can focus more, and it is equally online and offline, both are equally good?
Yeah, thank you for asking this question. So I would say, like, since I've come here, I've always been like online. The colleges haven't opened yet. But what I believe is that India is not as developed. India is a developing country, while US is a developed country. And the accessibility to, let's say, a computer or a phone is more in US. And people are like, they have this accessibility already. And in India, we're still struggling to have that infrastructure. So I remember when we when the pandemic, when the lockdown started, we did not even figure out what we do. Schools and colleges were shut for some time. There was nobody even caring for teaching and all. But sometimes later we developed this, let's have a Google Meet or let's have a Zoom thing, which was not the case in US, because everybody was well aware of these things. So so I think it was very smooth. It is not as effective as it is offline, definitely, but online hasn't made like a lot of difference. There is definitely a struggle always, but I think because of the presence of infrastructure, because everybody is well known, the parents are well educated and they know, they already have the devices for the students. This, I think, helps them a lot compared to India. We had to first find Google Meet and Zoom here in India to develop the infrastructure. I think it's very much better now, but there are still some people in the remote area who do not have access to these devices, who do not have access to Wi-Fi, who do not have access to internet. So it makes tough for them, and it is not as effective. You cannot say it is as effective. It's completely not as effective in US as well. But then they have the infrastructure to go ahead with it, and we are going ahead with it. So I think this is the difference. Yeah. So if any of the students have any question,
satisfied with this.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if any of the students have any questions on what they want to do ahead after their 12th, or what they want to do after their 10th, which stream they want to choose, you can ask openly about any question.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, Yes, yeah, yes. Hi, ma'am. Ma'am, my name is Soumya Goswami, and I am from class 11th science stream. And I always wanted to ask a question to someone who has been to such a reputed place. Like we always kept on keep on thinking that that the that for going to such big countries for doing your further education, you have to be financially very strong. So what is your point of view on this topic? And I think that this is a myth, but I wanted to clarify from you, as you have been from as you are doing your studies from USA. So did your family's financial condition interrupted in your studies?
Okay, so when I did my BSc, then definitely my family paid for it during my MSc as well. But during PhD, I have a scholarship and I also have a teaching assistantship. So I have to give like some time to as a TA, and then I also do research and lab. So my advisor pays me. I actually earn money. I do not have to spend money. If you come here for masters or bachelors, you can definitely look for scholarship, but then it becomes difficult because you have to spend a lot of money here, and in US things are really very expensive. So instead of spending, I do save money instead of spending. And my financial background at home is not great for them to support me here, so that's why I have a scholarship, and that's how I came here. Otherwise it wouldn't have been possible for me. But if you are good in academics, if you have some extracurricular activities, and if you write the SAT exam, if you want to move right after your school, if you can go for the SAT exam and you can apply for scholarship and other things in US. It's not as tough as you would think, because you have all access to the internet. You can just take out information from all the websites given over there on internet. So you have all the information right there in front of you. Do not sit back. Do not sit back. Explore things on internet. Find people who would guide you, and then go ahead. If do not push yourself back when you have to achieve something. So if you want to go to US or you want to go to any other country, just sit one day on Google and search what are the universities that give you scholarship. How can you pay for your accommodation? How can you pay for your food and other things for your survival? I think there is plenty of information on internet, but in my case, I have a scholarship and I also have a stipend, which I'm paid every month. So I save some money and I also send back home. So it is not an issue in my case.
Good morning, ma'am. Myself, Shelly Parihar from class 11th from
Hi,
Science.
Shelly.
Good morning, ma'am. I want to ask you one question, that what are the criteria for getting any kind of financial aid from any university in the US? Can you help me to,
Yes. So if you ask me for undergrad, you have to write a SAT exam, and it is, I think, out of 700 marks. So if you write that exam and you have good grades in that exam, then there is high chances of you getting a scholarship. And also if you have good grades in your school and your teachers are supportive, because they have to send you letters of recommendation. So keep your teachers, happy, like I said. So you have to, get the letter of recommendation, write the SAT exam, and after that you can apply, go to a particular university's website and look how they provide the financial aid, and you can definitely apply. But then I see like a lot of people do their undergrad from India and come to US for masters after they also go through some job. So they save money during their job, and after they take a loan, they come to US for masters. So that is also one possibility, because once you get a job in US, you can easily pay off your loan in, I think, less than 6 months. So, and after that, I know my roommate has a package of 1 crore here in US. Even if she starts saving, she can save, I think, 70 to 80 lakhs. So it is not a great thing. Like, it is not a big thing about the finances, because once you get a job, you can definitely pay off your loan. But do
Thank you,
this only when you are confident enough.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, and what about the exams like IELTS or TOEFL when it comes to US? So do we have to give TOEFL or IELTS exam?
I
What would
give
be
both. I give both, but I think TOEFL is preferred because it's easy to send off the grades to your university easily. You can just type it on your computer. But with IELTS, you have to fax it somewhere. It's a long process. So I prefer TOEFL over IELTS.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for asking question. I have some question from Manish Pandey, who is asking how can we prepare competitive exams sideways with CBSE as the pattern is different. So I don't know the current pattern to be very honest, but there are people, if you like, if anybody of you has your cousins or your friends in Kota, you would know that they do give the coaching for your IIT exams as well as your board exams. So I think for board exams, it's like if you prepare for IIT, you're definitely prepared for board exams. You just have to give 2 months looking at how you have to go with the pattern of writing the answers. But CBSE exams are pretty simple compared to the competitive exams. So start with the competitive exams. So if you're in 11th standard, you do not have to worry much about your, I think, school things. So you can start preparing from your 11th, and then in 12th you have to give equal. You have to be equal attentive towards your 12th. So in my case, like in 11th, I had no idea about this IIT thing. Okay, I did not even know that IIT existed. So I come from, like, it was long back then, and there were no, like, I don't know, I got my first phone when I was in, I think, 11, but that was a keypad phone. So we did not have access to internet, and we did not know that these things do exist. So now you know, like, these things exist, so you can sideways prepare for, along with your board exams, you can sideways prepare for your competitive. It is very much possible. People do it that way.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Mansi.
I am myself Shweta Verma.
Hi, Shweta.
So, ma'am, I have passed class 12 this year. So, my question is, being a science student, I am interested in designing, but still my parents are not convinced. They are not trusting me. Even society, family, the question is again and again raised that being a science student, you must join medical line. But I'm interested in designing. So, what should I do now?
Okay, you have to prove to your parents. No, your parents should trust you with that, because doesn't mean that you have science as your background, doesn't mean that you cannot switch to some other subject. You can definitely switch to some other subject. And if you have your interest in design, there's no point in going in science, because science demands a lot. I'm in pure science, and I know science demands a lot, and it's not an easy process. I did my 12th and when I was in 2014, and now this is 2021, I'm still doing my PhD. It'll be 2025 when I get a job. If you do BTech, I think I know that things are smooth when you get your BTech, and then you get a job, and then you get your promotions, and so many stuff. But I've been lucky to be able to go through some good things. But if you're interested in designing, then you should definitely convince your parents. And the times have changed. People do believe, like, if you're a designer, you can definitely own a designer shop, and it makes more money than science will ever make. So you have to, convince your parents in that regard.
Ma'am, as we are from rural area, they are not aware about this thing. So it is quite difficult. So what should I do now?
I
Can you
understand the problem. If you have your friends or some relatives who have been through this thing, you can seek their help as well. And if your parents, what do your parents want you to do? Engineering?
No, ma'am. They want me to join medical line.
They want
They
you to
think,
join me.
yeah,
Okay.
they think nothing in designing because they are not aware about this.
Yes, definitely you make more money in medical. So medical, I think, because, would, so I think they also have got a point. I mean, parents definitely want their students, their children to go at some height. So they definitely trust the process. But you can continue designing. Doesn't mean that if you do not have a degree in designing, you cannot do designing. You can definitely opt for some online courses, and you can do design side by side. And if you have very much interest, then you have to convince your parents somehow. But I think they also have a valid point. If you have some government school, college in hand, then you should go for medical, maybe. I believe.
Nice to talk to you.
Thank you for asking the question. Any further questions? Anyone?
Shreya, please check your WhatsApp.
So yes, so for me, like, school has been quite toxic as well as good. So there were some teachers who did bully me and who did bring me down, but then you have to trust your process. I would like to know how school has been for you. Okay, I have some question from Niranjan. It is true that all children are not the same. How did you recognize your speciality, that you're different from others in some things? And what decisions and changes did you make to become better? So you have to explore different things while you are in school. For me, academics have always been a plus point. So since I would say since my sixth standard, when I failed in mathematics, and after which I started looking, a lot at my academics, I knew that I am for academics. So when I joined BSc MSc, I am satisfied now. So you have to keep on exploring different things to know what interests you. While you are in school, there are many extracurricular activities that happen. There are many school activities that happen, so you have to take part in that. And I know it's a very tender age, it's a very young age. Even people who are in their undergrad, who are doing BTech or who are doing BSc, they change their field after their graduation. There's no time limit for you to change your field or look for some different alternative. So you have to look into yourself, what you want to be. I mean, later on in my masters, I discovered that I also like writing. So it comes like throughout your life, you will discover your talents. So I think this happens with everyone, and you should take part in different activities that go on in school to discover what excites you. So I would want to know how you. Okay, Uma has some question. Uma Bist, do you have a question? No? Okay, so I would want to know how you guys feel about your school. Do you have any comments about your school? Is it good? Like, what do you get to know? So Vivek is asking. Vivek.
So, ma'am,
wants to
my
be
sister and ma'am, I study in class 10th. Ma'am, I want to ask you about what was your time management till now, ma'am, as ma'am, time is very important for everything, as there is a age for everything, and after that, ma'am, we cannot do anything after the age is over. So, ma'am, how did you, ma'am, manage everything? Time management was there.
Yeah, I get that from 15 to 20 to 30, they say that it is your prime age, but things do come throughout life. You can do anything throughout your life, but then you don't have proper time for everything. You do not have to worry. There are 24 hours with everybody, and I think they are more than sufficient. I had a lot of leisure time during my 12th as well, but then you have to keep focus, make a timetable. Maybe if you're preparing for some competitive exam, you definitely should have a timetable and you should stick to it. If you want to do something, you definitely have to stick to your timetable, and you cannot move out of the timetable. So I think being disciplined, being punctual with your timetable would help you stick to everything. And I think there is a lot of time, right? You sleep for 8 hours, right? 8 to 9 hours. Even if you sleep for 10 hours, you have 18 hours in a day. So you should divide time equally, and you have, I think, maybe utilize weekends also, but I take weekends off. But you can also, utilize your weekends if you're having less time. How much do you study per day? I mean, since the classes are online, you do not have even to commute to the school and come back. For me, I had to go to the school. It would take 1.5 hours to go and then come back. So for me, I had to give that time also. In online classes, you do not have that thing also. So you're saving a lot of time. You be consistent, you be on time, you make a timetable, be disciplined about it. So I think that would help. So Vivek has a question. I'm interested in being air hostess and I'm unable to encourage my parents. They feel this job is not valuable for me. So air hostess, you can also do this after your graduation. If you can convince your parents straight away, but then it's always good to have a backup. I mean, you do not know whether you're going to be the air hostess, and after you join some academy to be the air hostess, you might not be able to turn back. So if you do your graduation and then decide that maybe you want to be the air hostess now, you can definitely do that. I had many colleagues who were the air hostess after they did their bachelor's. So it's okay to do that. We don't have a thing like weekend. In here, it's just Sunday. For online classes, I believe every day is a weekend. I mean, I also had Sundays and I had half Saturdays, but yes, I think with online classes, you just have to spare like 4 to 5 hours, and after that, you're done. So you have the whole day to yourself. What else do you do? Do not take too much pressure. It's not good to take too much pressure. You know, your mental well-being is as important as your physical well-being. So, you know, you divide time equally. You also have your fun things in your life. You do not have to, you know, stay on your academics for your full day with your books. So you have your leisure time as well. So let's get back to the question. If you have any comments about your school, about your teachers, about your administration fraternity, you can just tell me over here.
Good morning,
You
ma'am.
can be anonymous in the chat box. Yeah.
Good
Hi,
morning, ma'am.
Ayushi.
I am Ayushi Kohli of class 11th, a science student. I want to ask that what is difference between in the studies of our countries to the studies in developed countries like USA and other countries, and why all the students are want to go there, but as the syllabus is almost same now, but every student wants to go there. Why? What's the difference?
Thank you, Ayushi. That's a good question. So I don't know, like India has like 130 plus crores of population and nobody has a job. So why wouldn't people want to come to a country which offers them a job and they do not have to work so much as they would work in India? So I think there's a lot of competition in India. There's a lot of population in India. Even being like my friends from IITs who are not getting employment. IITs are the premier institutes. They have done BTech from IITs, and if they do not get a job, then who will? So I think in India the situation is really bad. So this is one of the things. There's so much of competition. There's so much of people pulling each other back. So this is one of the things I feel that people want to move abroad, because things are easier here. There's less competition, and also you are valued. If you're an average student, you are valued. Okay, in India, if you do not crack an IIT or if you do not crack certain college, your relatives would think you're of no use. You did nothing in life. But this is not the case, right? You can go to an average college and do maybe wonders there. So which only happens in India. So this is, I think, the most important thing.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, so somebody has some peculiar hobbies like computer languages, playing competitive computer games, etc. But I can't really sort out my future. Also, I'm a former student of St. Adams, so I don't think I have much time to lose. If you are interested in computers, then it's well and good, because computer offers the maximum job. You can go ahead with BTech in CS. I would recommend that for you. And if you have interest in programming language, there are a lot of jobs in programming languages. So being a chemistry student, I am learning that because job markets want that. So I think it's a good thing. If you have developed this hobby, then it's well and good. You can go ahead with this. You can, explore more of this, and you can join some institute for your BTech and maybe prepare for some competitive exam now and go for some good college. And if you do not go to some highly reputed NITs or IITs, you do not have to worry. I know people who can make big while staying in a non-IIT college. So definitely it would be preferred if you go to an IIT, but yes.
Ma'am, after 10th, I think, ma'am, sudden crossroads comes to your way, ma'am. Continuous crossroads comes to your way, ma'am. Where you have to choose different fields. Ma'am, how do you hold the stress and, ma'am, the different, ma'am, means depressing things that comes to your mind?
Yeah, so I know it's very important to keep yourself happy, because what are you doing all this for? You want to be happy in the end, right? So it's very important. Your mental health is as important as your physical health. You have to take care of yourself. You should be your priority, because if you're not well, what are you going to do? You cannot achieve much in life if you're not well yourself. So you should have some breaks in life. You should take some breaks. You should go traveling. You should pursue your hobbies. You should pursue your interest. And then comes your study as well. So take everything hand in hand. Do not completely get lost in your studies, and do not completely get lost in some few things. Do not forget things. Like, keep everything going. And if you have some like major issues, you can always talk to your parents, and you can always have some therapists and talk to your friends, because friends have helped me a lot. Like, everybody has their low days, okay? So friends get you out of everything. So it's always good to have some very good friends who always stay by your side. So somebody's dad's opinion is they should do a BCA first from IGNOU and then masters from college after that. So is it worth it? So I'm not sure what IGNOU is, but I think it is an open university. So it has online structure. So BCA is also about computer application. So I think if you have this as your drop year, if you are able to go to some good university for your BTech, why would your father stop you? Okay, so if you get into some government college, your father wouldn't stop you. And if you're not able to do that, then they have to find some alternatives for you. And as I said, you can always make big in any college. So it's okay whatever your father decides you. If you're not able to, do well in some competitive exam, otherwise you have your road straight. You give the JEE or some state exams and all, like UPTO in my case. So if he has real experience in this field, then definitely he knows better.
Yes, Soumya, now you can conclude because ma'am has spared a lot of time for all of us. And it's really, it would be around, I think, 11 p.m. there, late hours in California. So yes, Soumya, you can conclude now.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Soumya.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you very much for giving your valuable time and being part of this event. Your words were really motivating and influencing. And I'm sure that this guidance will help us a lot in different phases of our life. We'll be happy if, ma'am, you guide us in future also with these lectures. I'm thankful to everyone who generously helped us and make this event become a success. We have learned so much in the time we have been here. This event is finished, of course, but it doesn't really stop here. And there will be soon another amazing session for us. I know we have enjoyed today enormously and got to learn many things. See you soon in the upcoming sessions. Till then, goodbye, be safe and keep smiling.